the Super Bowl. I feel that black and gold going back to the Super Bowl. I feel that black and gold going back to the Super Bowl. I feel that black and gold going back to the Super Bowl. I feel that black and gold going back to the Super Bowl. I feel that black and gold going back to the Super Bowl. I feel that black and gold.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
What's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, Timothy J. Jones. And yes, I am the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And before we get started, I just ask that you hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for tuning in to the State of the Saints podcast. This is a rapid fire edition of the State of the Saints podcast, which means that the show is not going to be very long. It's going to be about 25 to 30 minutes, but it's going to be complete rapid fire. Your questions, your comments, your statements, whatever you have to say, we're going to get it all in between a 25 to 30 minute span. So make sure if you got something to say, make sure you go ahead and put those comments in the chat, man. Want to give a special shout out to everybody here and anybody that knows. You already know I said that we're going to have these pop-up episodes of the State of the Saints podcast, and the first person that comes on and comments, they will get a award courtesy of the State of the Saints podcast. So I want to give a special shout out to Ronnie Ray giving a comment. He was the first in line. So you, my friend, are going to get something courtesy of the State of the Saints podcast. So if you can email me your information, stateofthesaints@gmail.com, your name, your address, so we can send you a gift courtesy of the State of the Saints podcast, man. Y'all be on the lookout for these rapid fire episodes. You'll see it in the thumbnail. I put it at the top. So let me show him what he actually going to get, man. This is right off the press right here. Hold on, hold on. Let me step away for a second. I got to step away for this one. Got to step away. All right. So, Ronnie, you're gonna be the first person to get this, man. You're gonna be the first person to get it, man. We just got these fresh off the press, man. We got some brand new State of Saints podcast towels right here, man. We got them terrible State of Saints podcast towels, man, right here. So, Ronnie, congratulations to you, man. We're going to go ahead and we're going to send you one. You're going to be the first recipient of one of these, man. These fresh, hot off the press. Hot. So, shouts out to you, Ronnie. Make sure you send that information. stateofthesaints@gmail.com. Also, the show is powered by BetUS. Sign up today, and you can sign up and get a 150% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. Not 125 no more. Nah, that's too low. 150 on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. And all you have to do is go to BetUS website, and you can all you have to do is hit the promo code YouTube150. YouTube150. All right. So put that code in, and you'll take advantage of that sign-up bonus, man. Get yourself a little bit more bread than you already put down. All right. But let's go ahead and get into it, man. Shouts out to everybody here. The people that ain't here, we got to go ahead and hit it. Shouts out to them after show, boys.
Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show, boys. Shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out, shouts out to them after show, boys. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet and be posting. They be tweet. Yeah, them after show, boys. They be tweet and be post, they be tweet, and be post, they be tweet. Yeah, them after show boys.
That's out to all the after show boys, after show girls out there. Let's go ahead and get into it, man. Rapid fire here. Put your questions, put your comments in there, and we start right about now. Joshua says, I want Tyson to run at a lot. 12 touches will win. I don't know who Tyson is. Mike Tyson, Fitted Tyson. I assume you're talking about Taysom. I understand what you're saying, man. Yeah, they definitely got to utilize Taysom Hill in the best way possible. I expect for the New Orleans Saints to utilize his skill set. I think that Taysom Hill is going to have a little bit of an uptick. As a matter of fact, if I was playing fantasy football, I would actually have Taysom Hill in my lineup. I think the Saints have some big plans for number 7. No doubt about that. What's good, brother? What's going on? Appreciate you for being here, man. I appreciate you, T-Rez. Let's see. Robert says, let's go who that. Shouts out to you, Robert. Thank you for being here. It's popping. 504 said it was Ann. Cartel says, shout out to Ronnie Ray. Yeah, man. Shouts out to you, Ronnie, man. Thank you for being here. Says, hello, TJ and the Who Dat fam. What's going on, Pammy? Thank you for being here. Guy with the best name on the face of God's green earth says, who that? Shouts out to Tim. Says Cartel says, congratulations. Popping bottles for Ronnie Ray. That's what I'm talking about, man. Shouts out to Cartel, man. Extremely supportive of all of everything that I do, man. Man, that means a lot to me, man. Shouts out to you, Cartel. Thank you for that, man. Pammy said, TJ, I was the 15th person. What do I get? You get a good show. You get a good show. But nah, seriously, man. I got something coming up, man, really, really soon. I think y'all gonna be excited about. And you know, there's a lot of people that support this show, man. So I'm gonna do something. You know, I'm in the works of and doing it right now. A lot of people have been supporting this show for a very long time, man. So wanted to acknowledge that. So that's gonna be coming very, very soon. Very, very soon. I'm just letting you know that. Them things cold, TJ. Well, look, man. I just thought that maybe I just, maybe add a little bit more merchandise or whatever like that. But these aren't just, things that, I'm just gonna be selling. It's just stuff that I want to be giving away throughout the season. We also have some State of the Saints podcast cups that recently, that I recently got. And also just some different merchandise I got from different sponsors. They just give me a lot of different things, and they I don't need them, man. Like they give me a lot of stuff. So I just want to bless other people with them, and take advantage of some of these nice little gifts that I have, man. So I'm gonna be giving these things out throughout the entire NFL season, in 2024 season here. All you have to do, like the thumbnail that says rapid fire, man, be on the lookout for it. So when it says rapid fire, first person in here, I'm not discriminating. I don't care if you're a person that wins over and over again. Like, look, hey, first come, first serve, right? Just have a house full of State of the Saints podcast merchandise. Let's throw down a little bit, man. Everybody giving a shout out to Ronnie, man. Shouts out to you, Ronnie. Once again, stateofthesaints@gmail.com. And also State of the Saints stateofthesaints@gmail.com for those that may have questions or concerns or things that they want to say to me behind the scenes. Shouts out to them after show boys. Yeah. Tap the like button, says Cartel. Antoinette says, who that family was going on? Thank you for being here. Says, if the Saints struggle against the Panthers this Sunday, would that immediately be a cause for concern? Oh, absolutely. I think that is, a part of this topic here. I said is the Saints week 1 game versus the Carolina Panthers a must win. And I think you have to look at this game as a must win based on the fact that you have one of the toughest opening schedules I've seen in a hot minute. You go from playing the Carolina Panthers to taking on the Cowboys. Regardless of what we feel about the Cowboys, they're a really good football team. You got Philadelphia. They're a really good football team. They sputtered down the stretch, went 11-6 last season, but still a really good football team. You got the Atlanta Falcons out there, the Madden Bowl champions out there. That's not going to be an easy game. And then you also have the Kansas City Chiefs. Even though, they don't look like world beaters, that's still going to be a tough game regardless. So you got to be able to start off, on a high note. You got to get guys morale high because I'm telling you, you going into the Superdome, and you're not doing what you need to do to win a football game, morale is going to be low people are going to boo the hell out the football team and people are going to become disinterested. Because if you can't beat a team that has struggled over the last couple of years with a quarterback that's trying to figure it out, who had 11 touchdowns, 10 interceptions last season, even though I think he's going to be much better, you got to be able to beat these type of teams. So if the Saints don't win this football game, I understand it's a divisional game. So, it's your division or rival. So you pretty much know everything about one another, but you got to win this football game, man, for morale purposes, for momentum. You got to win this football game. You can't be around this thing half stepping in and thinking somebody going to be supporting this nonsense. For real, you got to win. Let's see. I was Taysom, spell check. I know you was, man. I just was having a little fun, Josh. I know you meant Taysom, man. I was just having a good time there. Says to win, we need to see a lot of Olave and Taysom. Yeah, man. Look, I think the game last night, if you watched it, the Baltimore Ravens versus the Kansas City Chiefs, I think we saw that you can actually, score some points with just utilizing a few people. Like if you look at Baltimore, all Lamar basically used was, number one, his legs. Like we can go ahead and eliminate that. We know Derek Carr ain't running to the mailbox. You know what I'm saying? We already know that. But you were able to use Isaiah Likely. Shouts out to that Coastal Carolina shot right there. And also you were able to use Zay Flowers. And they went out there and did that. I didn't see Mark Andrews. I seen Rashad Bateman in little spurts. He had that big catch towards the end of the game to kind of set up that goal line situation. But I didn't see too many other players out there. Nelson Aguilar caught one pass. So it just shows you, man. Like I was really optimistic. It's like one of those situations, man. Like, Paxton is my only son, right? So, him and my wife and I, this is our first child. So when you have your first child, you feel like everything in the world that is going wrong is only happening to you. Because you don't have anybody like you can look around and be like, man, I done seen this before. So you feel like it's only happening to you. But then all of a sudden, like you meet other parents that have kids around your age or Paxton's age in this case, and they're like, man, they did this and I couldn't believe this. And you kind of look like, well, Paxton kind of did the same thing. It makes you put your mind at ease because you start questioning yourself like, man, am I doing a good job as a parent? Am I doing all the right things to help out my child? But when you see other kids kind of going through the same thing, behaving the same way at times, it's kind of like, okay, man, everybody kind of go through this. When you look at some of the offensive line issues of both of those teams and the fact that all Lamar Jackson basically had at wide receiver last night was Zay Flowers, and I don't see the cavalry coming, kind of makes you feel a little bit more optimistic about your team. Like, these are two of the best teams in football right here. 9 times out of 10, this will not be the last time these two teams play each other this season. And both teams had imperfections that were on full display. Like, so to me, like, that's kind of optimistic, just looking at that. Watching some of these offensive lines look pretty terrible in their own right. And those are some of the best teams in the league, like I just mentioned. So sometimes, looking at these games, it makes you feel a little bit better about the situation that you're in and feel like maybe, they'll be able to, deal with it or go through it in order for them to be able to, generate some levels of success. But you got to be able to win football games like this. Let's see how you feel about almost getting Tim Patrick. I would have liked to have Tim Patrick. Of course, we know that 6'5" frame that he has. He has a really good catch radius. I think he's really underrated. Of course, for those that don't know, shouts out to Alfred. Thank you for bringing this up. The New Orleans Saints and the Denver Broncos were trying to work out a trade to send Tim Patrick to the New Orleans Saints. But of course, they couldn't really get the deal done. So they decided to release Tim Patrick and he signed with the Detroit Lions. So that's kind of how that happened. You would have had another, tall, physical type receiver in your room. But, when I look at Tim Patrick, I don't see too much of a separation between him and A.T. Perry. And I'm not just talking about their height. I'm just talking about their skill set and the way that they play. I think they kind of have like a similar skill set. I like Tim Patrick. I think that he's talented, but I think that you can get some of the production you would have gotten out of Patrick with A.T. Perry. I mean, that's just my honest opinion there. So That's just the way that I feel. I ain't want to scratch my nose on camera, y'all. I'm sorry. That's why I turn. My nose was itchy, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be up there, just scratching my nose. But anyway, I think that A.T. Perry and Tim Patrick kind of on that same level. So I don't think too much was lost there. It would have been great to have them, though. I'm gonna scroll down a little bit to Nathan. Nathan says, I'm really excited about this season. Got to stay positive. Who that? Yeah, man. I just think that I'm just talking from my perspective, Nathan, in Who Dat Nation. It's hard for me to spend money I don't have, and it's hard for me to get nervous about something I have not seen. Like, I just feel like you get yourself all worked up, and that just comes from it over time. I'm very open about some of the issues that I have dealt with, like mentally, like dealing with anxiety and depression and stuff like that. And one thing that I try to do is try to control the things that I can control, and that's what all you can do. We all want the New Orleans Saints to be a formidable team. We all want this team to be a playoff team. We all want this team to live up to its potential. But I mean, who's to say that they won't? I mean, we only can go by, what we actually see. And I think that in this case, I think that intuition and suspicion and, like being hurt and, over the course of these last few years has really gotten some of these Saints fans in a very, very dark place. But, you don't know how things are going to turn out. Like you can't go up in there with a pessimistic attitude. You got to be optimistic about it, right? I mean, have a wait and see approach. I'm not saying go out here and be, dancing, doing a Benson Boogie down bourbon or nothing, but, have a wait and see approach. And, if this team can surprise you, like just be pleasantly surprised. If they can't, then we already know what we are as a franchise. I think we have a little bit of an idea over the last 3 years. It kind of shown us that, but, we just adjust accordingly. It's nothing really we can do about it, folks. I mean, it really has to come down to the higher ups really having the confidence and the ability in themselves to move on from like this whole Sean Payton remnants. Like, to me, Dennis Allen is still a part of that Sean Payton type thing, even though he has new coaches on the defensive side and offensive side. I just feel like the Saints at times, they get afraid at some things that are new and things that they haven't really been around or accustomed to. And I think that has been the issue over the last couple of years that has bitten this team in the behind constantly. So I just think that whatever happens, it happens, right? I mean, if they don't win games, if they look bad, then you have to move on, right? You just hope that this organization don't try to, spin this to a point where they try to bring Dennis Allen back if it's not working, or try to keep this team intact, and you're preaching continuity. But if you got continuity with a new defensive staff, you try to keep continuity with a new offensive staff, like if it doesn't work, then it just does not work. I think we got to beat them handily to feel hopeful for the season. Schedule gets brutal after we play them. I don't know about beating them handily, man, because I don't feel like the Saints are going to do that. I don't think that I'd be shocked if the Saints like blow out the Panthers. I think that, this is going to be a close game. You got to take into account both of these teams kind of know each other. I mean, Dave Canales knows Dennis Allen's defense, and Dennis Allen's defense knows Dave Canales' type offensive style. So to me, I think you're probably going to get like some of those closer games, some of those, he got me on this type thing. I like Dave Canales, as a coordinator. Don't know him as a head coach, but seems like there's some energy going on in Carolina based on the people that are around here where I live in Myrtle Beach. And as well as shouts out to my guy, Clay. I was on his show last night on his podcast, and we were just breaking down the game. And he was talking about some of the energy that Dave Canales has brought into that facility. And also they have some very, very talented wide receivers that they done brought over and drafted in Xavier Legette. So, I mean, this to me, I'd be shocked if the Saints blow out the Panthers. TJ, you are a blessing to us. Thank you. Well, Pammy, I appreciate you all. You're a blessing to me as well. I take a lot of pride in doing this show, man, and you all make it so much fun to do. It don't feel like it's work or anything like that, man. When when you love, what you're doing and you're passionate about what you're doing, and then you got some really good folks that believe in you like you all, I mean, it makes it pretty easy to do shows like this. So thank you. I appreciate it. Be sure to check out the Gumbo Pie Sports Podcast and subscribe as well. Yeah, Cartel, like I got a new video that I'm going to put out probably a little bit later. Got to go pick up the Packy man from school. But after that, it's probably going to come out maybe like around 4 p.m. Eastern. So that's about 3 p.m. Central. So be on the lookout for that, man. It's an episode about the Philadelphia Eagles and the Green Bay Packers. Of course, we know they're playing in Brazil. Should be an interesting game. Don't know why those guys are over there. I mean, NFL, come on, man. Why in the world would you allow two teams that are known for wearing green to go to South America and play where they just despise the color? Like, I didn't understand that. That was definitely not some Princeton and Harvard graduates making those decisions right there. That was just a quick money grab, and you wanted to put those two teams out there. But hopefully, everything pans out. They're supposed to beef up security and stuff like that. Those guys were not happy getting off their plane. And I don't think I can too much blame them for that. You don't want to put these guys in a war zone. At least bring them to a place where, it's peaceful and people just kind of go with the flow. Not, after I catch this pass and, something might go upside my head, TJ, blessings. Who's the brother was on your last season intro? Second line. You said on my last season intro, second lining. I gotta I'm trying to remember. I don't know, man. I honestly don't know. I have to go back and check that out. I'm not sure who that was. Let's see. What it do, TJ? I'm ready for Sunday. I'm gonna have to go check that out, yo. I'm not sure who that was. I don't know if I probably, and got that from, off Google or something like that as in a collage. Normally, I don't know the individuals that, I put those different, like from the, the different parody songs that I do or intros. Like I really don't too much know the people. Like I just, based on the emotion and what I'm singing about or rapping about or making parodies about, they just, I just pick their pictures because it coincides with what I'm saying. What it do, DJ? I'm ready for Sunday, said Joey. Yeah, I'm ready for Sunday too, man. And I'm excited about Sunday. Speaking of Sunday, coming up this Sunday, I'll be doing the State of the Saints podcast live. I'll be doing it live at the Little Easy Restaurant. And I'm excited about that. It's at 634 Julia Street in New Orleans. I'm really excited about it, man. So I'll be doing a pre and post game show there. So if you're not doing anything, you're going to the game, you're downtown, you want to stop by, make sure you do. I'll be glad to, see and meet, each and every one of you because, this show wouldn't exist if it wasn't for you all. I don't think I would be able to get opportunities like I have or have talked to the people that I've talking to throughout the 7 years I've been doing this podcast if it wasn't for you all. So I want to say thank you, and I really do appreciate it. So 634 Julia Street will be down there. Make sure that you stop by if you can. Strolling down says, what up, TJ? I am one of the after show boys today. I'm not. Who that? Well, Calvin, I appreciate it, man. Rather you're after show boy, a live boy, a after show girl, or a live girl, I appreciate the support that you give this show. Let's play to the strength of the O-line, run the ball. It will also complement our defense. Yeah, run the football, establish the run, set up the play action, which is Derek Carr's strength, and see where you're going with that. Rest in peace to Rich Homie Quine. Yeah, shouts out to, Rich Homie Quine's family. Prayers up for them at this particular time. It's unfortunate, man. It's unfortunate that, a young brother lost his life, man. OD. Like, man, that's why we got to be careful, man. We got to be careful with this medication and stuff and mixing these medications. Like, I think it was accidental overdose. Like, just be taking anything, not really understanding, like, you can't, combine this particular medication with this one. Like, you got to be careful with that type of stuff, man. But Rich Homie Quine, he was a talented rapper. A lot of people liked him. My wife was playing music all morning before she went to work. She was a big fan of his as well. And I hate that it happened to him, but hopefully this can be a teachable lesson, man. I mean, this is another rapper who ended up losing his life, man, for, unnecessarily, man, because you got to be careful with these medications that you take. I mean, you hear that all the time, like all these different artists. And, I think even like Ray Lewis's son lost his life because, he accidentally overdosed. So it's like, you got to be careful with this stuff, man. Got to be careful. Can't wait to see you in New Orleans. I need a real po' boy sandwich, says my mom. Shouts out to my mom. Said that she gonna roll through the spot, and I'm looking forward to it, man. When the last time I seen my mom? I think I ain't seen my mom in since January, maybe. I came down. Me and Paxton came down there to visit. No, I take that back. Unfortunately, it was my aunt's funeral a few months ago. So yeah, never want to see your family members in situations like that. But yeah, look forward to seeing my family again. It's been a while since I seen my mom and crew. Michael, thank you very much for the $1.99. Pastor says, "We got this." I had to use a pastor voice right there. Says Pastor Timothy Boy, "We got this." Let's see. We got. I just hope our offense does something. Our defense going to be elite. Yeah, I think that's what everybody just waiting for. I think that people don't have the issue with the defense. It's mostly the offense. We're going to read a few more, and then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, folks. Like I said, it's a quick show, and got to go pick up the boy. Says, I'm nervous about the Panthers game. They play us tough every year. Yeah, man, anybody that just think that the Panthers about to just walk up in here and just lay down for the New Orleans Saints, you sadly mistaken, man. Like, this game could be one of those games where Carolina is leading throughout. Like, they're a good football team, man. They're a prideful football team. And honestly, man, when it comes to the NFC South, the Saints and the Panthers, now it's been Tampa, but throughout the time, it's been Carolina and the Saints kind of, being the top team in the division, winning the division, being that well-structured organization, until Tampa, they decided to kind of change some things up, bringing in Tom Brady. And then you got the Atlanta Falcons that are using binoculars looking over in New Orleans to make sure that they can make a formidable organization. But other than that, the Carolina Panthers, they've been right there with the New Orleans Saints. Yeah, man, I think normalizing those difficulties is extremely therapeutic. Yeah. Let's see. I think we will be okay this season, TJ. I will be in the house this Sunday. Well, I hear a lot of people coming to the game, man. I just hope that they give us something that we can actually cheer about. What up, TJ? I am one of the after show boys today, but I am not. I think I already read that. Unless you put it in again, Calvin. But thank you, man. Shouts out to the after show boys. I do agree with you, but everyone knows they have enough sense to be able to get it cleaned up. Well, I don't know, man. Do they? We'll see. I just feel like the Saints kind of drag their feet with a lot of situations, which caused them to be in these type of situations that they're in. Not really, taking, the time to understand that, Drew Brees wasn't going to play forever. The fact that you have a offensive lineman who has to sit out every single Wednesday and has dealt with an injury that, has surgery, and y'all up here having a wait and see approach. You already knew that the surgery didn't go the way that it was supposed to go. And you still did absolutely nothing like there was a meaning to try to fix the issue. I just feel like sometimes, I don't know if it's the fact that the Saints are just that confident in their players, or they just are like deer in headlights when it comes to certain situations. I don't know. But look, if you think that all of a sudden, like, Trevor Penning is about to become Ryan Ramczyk or, one of the best right tackles in football, like overnight, like, this ain't Disney. That happens on Disney. Like, I can't do it. I can't do it. And then there's that coach, you can do it. And then all of a sudden, they have that compilation reel where, they struggling. And then all of a sudden, like, they start getting it and the timing right and all that. Like, bro, that's TV, right? I mean, when a guy shows you that he getting absolutely manhandled, and I mean, some of the most mediocre pass rushers that you can ever find on the street, like, just blowing right past you, like, how much more do you need to see? So I feel like there really are no excuses here. You had the opportunity to make this thing work. But other than that, you just decided because Trevor Penning is a first round pick and you don't want to feel stupid about drafting him. You just want to kind of make this thing work. Oh, he didn't work on the left side. Let's put him on the right side. Let's try to make this thing work. Like, I just think that the Saints have been living in denial for a minute. And, I was having a conversation with one of the Saints fans on X today. And, I was just wondering, was he on X? Because this guy was up here becoming an enabler. And I just feel like that's the issue. That's the reason why the New Orleans Saints can drag their feet with a lot of these situations, especially when it comes to the draft process. Like, there's no excuse for the New Orleans Saints not to have a succession plan. There's no reason why the New Orleans Saints should have Derek Carr as their quarterback right now. If you had in 2017, you had an opportunity to get Patrick Mahomes, I would let that slide because Kansas City jumped in front of you. He was going to be right there for you until Kansas City jumped in, and the rest is history. So I'm not going to hold that against you. But in 2018, you had opportunity to get Lamar Jackson. You chose to get a guy that nobody really knew about and had to use Wikipedia to find out who he was, and Marcus Davenport. I mean, I can understand the upside, but still was a guy coming from a small school, just like Trevor Penning, that you had to coach up. So around year 3, year 4, you'll probably get some type of production out of him. But by that time, it's time for a big deal. So basically wasted 3-4 years. You could have got a guy like Lamar Jackson waiting in the wings, would have been ready to be able to rock and roll for your team. Back in 2020, you had an opportunity to get Jordan Love. You got Cesar Ruiz. I mean, I think y'all remember the in my opinion, one of my greatest rants of all time, me talking about that whole decision, you got a guy Jordan Love. And you didn't get Jordan Love, and then you could have circled back around and got Jalen Hurts in 2020, and you didn't do that either. So the New Orleans Saints have really put a lot of hardship in their lives. I mean, this is some self-inflicted wounds right here, man. And it just bothers me when some of these Saints fans be trying to make excuses for some of this ineptitude that's going on around here, man. Like, the reason I'm not really going in on Derek Carr and Dennis Allen as much, and, people are wondering why, it's because I already know what the deal is when it comes to this, man. Like, they're going to try to make this thing work or make themselves look like they're the most right, organization in an entire space there, but in reality, they fooling themselves. Like, Dennis Allen leaves a lot to be desired. His passive aggressive behavior could be the detriment to this team. I don't know if it will be yet, but you cannot try to be everybody's friend. You cannot try to make everybody happy and then turn around and think that you're about to win some football games consistently. No. Okay. You got to be able to be aggressive when necessary. You got to be able to put your big boy pants on. And if a player isn't what he used to be, or he ain't playing at a certain level, you need to have that conversation with him and let them know that we're going to go in a different direction, but we still need you here. That's what really good coaches do. Those what the leaders of men do. And, you got to be able to do that. So trying to, window dress this thing and try to, question the intelligence of the Who Dat Nation, I think that is the main reason that Saints fans get ticked off all the time, because they feel like their intelligence is being questioned here. Now, you look at this team across the board, there is talent there. So if there's talent all across the board, you have to ask yourself the question, why can't they get the best out of this talent? Why is it that you're not going with things that work instead of like you're trying to force a guy just because of his draft positioning or the money that you're paying him? You're trying to make him work. We all use the example all the time of Jimmy Graham in the red zone last season. I mean, he was targeted 3 times, had 2 touchdowns, something like that, or he probably had 3 touchdowns. So instead of you utilizing Jimmy Graham in a passing game, you decide to keep him on the bench because, you paid Foster Moreau and Juwan Johnson to be your tight ends. Like, that just doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't scream a team that is trying to win something. And this is the frustration. Like, I'm just telling you the narrative of the Who Dat Nation and how they feel. This ain't really just me. Well, parts of me, but I feel like this is why this Who Dat Nation is as frustrated as they are. Because you're not making those tough decisions. You're trying to make this thing work, and you're trying to force Saints fans to feel a certain type of way about it. And then you ridicule the Who Dat Nation for feeling a certain type of way when they see what you're doing isn't working. Like you just want to chunk it up and roll your eyes and be like, oh, they always complaining. Well, I don't think Saints fans would complain if they felt like they had a product on the field. They'll be in everybody's chat that's criticizing this team going to war with the football team. But you don't see that anymore. You know, you don't see teams conceding. You know what I'm saying? You don't see Saints fans like conceding, like they, well, they are conceding, I should say, but they weren't doing this back in the day a couple of years back. So I don't know. I don't know if this spam, or Ken James, I don't know exactly who this is, but you can come over to the gumbo pot, my friend. We did a prediction show on your team right there, man. So I don't know if you're spam or you just joking around. I don't know what's happening, but thank you for being here. Make sure you subscribe to the Gumbo Pot and the State of the Saints. Question, TJ, you think the Saints ownership is terrified, not scared, but terrified of just hitting a reset button and start all over, or they just in denial? I think they're afraid of moving on. I think that this team, this has been their reputation. Like I think back to Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts. I've seen Sean Payton on Colin Cowherd countless occasions use Jalen Hurts as an example of they didn't think that he would be what he was. I think that when you look at the New Orleans Saints, there's this certain structure that they had. And when you're a team that's not known for winning and you find some prosperity, you're trying to do everything that you can to try to maintain that type of status quo. And I think that the New Orleans Saints, they shied away from guys like Lamar Jackson and Jalen Hurts because of that particular skill set. Like even right now in Denver, like look at Bo Nix. I mean, he's that stereotypical Drew Brees type quarterback. And I look at this and I'm like, you kind of selling yourself short. Like, and you also have to look at the fact that you've been living in a stone age for I don't know how long, folks. Haven't they been living in a stone age? Am I tripping? Because it feels like they've been living in a stone age with this offensive philosophy that they've been having and not embarking on a future. Like, it's two things that's going to happen, right? It's rather you're going to embrace the future or you're going to get slapped in the face by it. And the New Orleans Saints over the last couple of years have been getting slapped in the face by reality and the future because, you got to be able to roll with the times. Shouts out to Ken. Thank you for being here, man. You think about that. Like Aaron Rodgers still has something left in the tank. But, Green Bay was like, man, you know what? We decide we gonna move on from this, right? We got Aaron. He's with the Jets, and we see what Jordan Love is able to do right now. So sometimes you got to be able to make those tough decisions, man. Sometimes you're not going to be the fan favorite. Sometimes you're not going to be, everybody's favorite person. But if you're doing the necessary things to make the team better, I guarantee you people will forgive you in the long run. But I want to say thank you all for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Really do appreciate it. Much love to you, man. The next time you all are here from me will be down in New Orleans, man. I'll be down in New Orleans, 634 Julia Street at the Little Easy Restaurant for the State of the Saints podcast pregame show. We'll go to the game and then we'll come back and do the postgame show. So once again, 634 Julia Street. You can find your boy down there. If you're not doing anything, make sure that you come on by, and take part and make sure that you get something to eat and drink. Really good restaurant, man. Like really, really positive vibes. I think that you'll like the restaurant. And also, shouts out to everybody that may be new here. I ask that you subscribe to the channel. We've been doing this since 2018. And we're going strong, man. So shouts out to everybody that's new here. Hit that subscribe button. Everybody here, I ask that you hit the like button. Help the State of the Saints podcast to grow. I really do appreciate that, man. Much love to you. But thank you so much. Shouts out to everybody that commented. Shouts out to everybody that didn't comment but checked out the show. Shouts out to all the after show boys, after show girls out there. I really do appreciate it. I don't know why every time I click this, it always goes out. The show is powered by BetUS. You can get a sign-up bonus up to 150% on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Make sure that you go to BetUS, use the promo code YouTube150, all right? YouTube150. Make sure that you do that, all right? And thank you. Till next time, all I got to say is, Who that?
Thank you for listening to my daddy's podcast.
Hey, don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.